Alright my friends, let me show you what I built here last couple days. This is a number 20. This is Erik Jones Reser's Fine Foods from his days with Joe Gibbs Racing when he took over the 20 car from Matt Kenseth. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward card. I had the black decals, the background removed on the decal paper, and so I just painted the car black and laid the decals over top of that. Really needed to separate everything out so I can get everything aligned and on the car in the right place. A little difficult on this back end here where you have this potato salad logo, and then you've got this red back here that kind of wraps around a little bit, come across this bumper, and I didn't quite get it lined up here very well on this side, but oh well, such is life sometimes. Whenever you have these intersection points between the decals, you run the risk of things not lining up properly. But outside of that, everything else, since there's no intersection points here, pretty straightforward paint scheme. It turned out pretty well. So yeah, I'm just in the process of putting some coats of clear sealer on it. I've already got, I think, 3 on here, and we'll put a couple more, and that'll be that. So yeah, pretty happy with how it turned out, all in all, with this Reser's potato salad car. Can't get too many Erik Jones cars from his days with Joe Gibbs Racing. So at least early on, right? This was the Monster car when Monster was the primary sponsor for the Cup Series back in 2018. So yeah, pretty cool paint scheme. This one, I think he drove at Texas, so I'll get that thing mounted and up in a case. Alright, so I'm also working this 2020 David Starr Helluva Ranch custom Chevy. So got it painted white, not my best paint job, but it's kind of messy here because I pre-painted some areas to include the lower side valances here and the roof as I get ready to put this on, because this piece here is just not big enough. The decal set is just too small. So, but one of the things I did was paint the spoiler. So the spoiler's black, and I got some black strips on there, but it's not all of the spoiler, just kind of most of it. You can see the back here. And really I like to use those strips, right, to get that nice clean cut spoiler on. You know, when you're trying to freehand paint this thing, it's near impossible to get that spoiler done right. So as I've showed you guys many times, I paint some blank decal paper, cut it out, and then lay it in strips across there. You can see that. I got actually 2 strips there overlapping each other. And especially on a bright white car like this, good night of living. It's so easy to see any imperfections if you mess up on your painting. So now I can tell I'm getting towards the end of my life on this paint pen as I continue to try to get the paint flowing. It'll flow, but it won't flow for long, so I use this kind of backing here to get the paint to come out, but it eventually does. And I can go to town with it, but it takes a while. You can see, because I shook it up. It just takes a while, and the tip gets, kind of gets hard, which I kind of like, actually, because that means it's a little bit more defined where I go to put it. But it just makes it clear that I'm getting to the end of my life cycle on this paint pen. If you're wondering where I get them, I kind of shop around. If I need them in a hurry, like today, then I'll be going to Hobby Lobby and getting them and paying, more than I should. But if I plan ahead, Amazon, sometimes eBay, you get somebody selling a lot of I say a lot, L-O-T, of paint pens, and you can sometimes get a good deal that way. And then what I like to do, I showed you guys this with these X-Acto knives. See how I did that? Kind of line that up there. It's so nice to be able to do that. So kind of get enough paint on the spoiler there, right? And then I just let it kind of get enough there, and then I kind of spread it down. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I think, I'll have to double check before I do this, but I think this whole shark fin is black, going all the way back here. So alright, so let's get some of these decals in place here. Now that I got that spoiler painted, just need to remember to keep my fingers away from that thing. YostBarnes.com. No idea what that is. Always like to separate out these rear bumper decals. You look at it, you can see it's like two different levels. There's no reason to keep it together. Just it's a nice simple cut to get the decals separated, and then you can just lay them in place. You don't have to worry about trying to get them to fit over top of this ridge here. and work on 2 different levels. So you guys that are out there making customs, I highly recommend you just separate the decals out as much as you can. Yeah, it's going to take you a little bit longer to make them, no doubt about it, but you're going to end up with a better product, and your customers are going to like that. If they're detail oriented, they're going to really like that. Okay. Looks like I got a little bit up on the windshield there. That'll be alright. I'll trim that off later. Key was I was going to use these little hood pins, so I wanted to line those guys up. Pretty cool. You can see how I separated these out here. Here. I want to be able to bring it right up against this inner fender here. Now the lower valence is going to be black. I'll paint that later. But what I'm doing here is I'm trying to keep this little logo here away from this headlight, where my headlight logo is going to go. Don't want that headlight logo covering that guy up as much as possible. Let's have a little freedom there. I can line that guy up there. Same thing on this side. Try to keep that 53 low. Could have put the headlight in first, I guess. Oh well. It'll be okay. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Trying to get this thing moving forward. I got my fingers smudged on the side here. Just wipes off nicely. Let's try this guy here. Not a whole lot of room. Why is this not laying down nicely? Whenever that happens, you see it get like a little dry or something. Obviously, I'm just putting water on here. I could put some microsol on here, but it just seems to be very, I don't know, just doesn't want to lay down flat or nice. So try some water first. Okay, looks pretty good. Alright. Okay, so now I know this is going to be a pain in the butt because I didn't really trim it much. But let me see if I can get this roof decal at least started. And I'm going to need some microsol for sure because this guy is going to go over these roof lines, which are fairly pronounced on this Camaro. Okay. I'll get those guys sitting in there while I'm at it. Okay, so I'll say the best way to do this, but I'm going to use my thumb. You can see why I had to pre-paint back here because this decal is not even close to being long enough. Pull it back just a little bit. Well, so I don't want any white showing through, so I'm going to put it right on that edge. Oh, you can see the microsol really start working there. That didn't take long. So here, yeah, I'm just kind of working this in over top of those roof rails. seeing how the decal kind of conforms to the roof there. Such pronounced roof rails. But this is where you gotta have some patience to work this guy in. I don't know if you can hear my heater, but I got my heater going because just still on the little cold side down here, even though it hit 70 degrees today. You gotta make sure that your decals aren't too cold or they will crack. But Microsol is your friend. It's nice and tight there. It's probably about as best as I could hope. Pretty happy with that. Okay, next step will be to get these side